Hello, and welcome to the Paid Off Project, where I'm trying different side hustles to see if I can pay down my student loan debt just a little faster. So far, I've been focused predominantly on reselling, which is reselling things, hopefully for a profit. And I've been doing monthly reports, two types now. One is just an income report, how much came in with a little bit of a breakdown. And then this, which is going through every single item that I sold in the prior month so that you can learn from it. I always learn from these as I go through. You do just get a sense of themes of what's selling, what's not, pricing, that type of thing. So this month three correlates with July, which is part of what is referred to by many as the summer slowdown. I don't know if by many, but it's largely thought in the reselling community that summer, not just thought, it's a fact, summer sales tend to slow down. There's exceptions if you're in a reselling business that focuses on summer related items, or you have a huge inventory and have a lot of summer related items. But in general, summer, people are on vacation, kids are out of school. It tends to be a slower purchasing time of year in general. Reselling and sales in general start to creep back up as you would expect in fall and then hit a high point as we approach the winter holidays. So, with that background, I didn't sell much in July at all. So, this is going to be quick, but we're going to go through it and then I'll talk about whether or not I'm worried after this down month. So, first thing I'm selling right now, still eBay and Poshmark. I am considering Etsy, but there's now a $30 startup fee. So, I'm going to see how these other platforms do for now. eBay, I sold 3 items, but my total gross sales, the total that came in from those, was $52. Not that much. My estimated profit was $34.52, which gives me an average per sale profit of $11. Nothing crazy. I would note that when you're looking at other people's either income reports or claims of like, I make X thousand dollars per month reselling, that you pay attention to whether they're talking about gross or net sales. Either way, I mean, $5,000 gross is impressive. Probably taking home 3 grand, but it's just something to pay attention to when you're watching other videos. And I'm trying to be as transparent as possible here. So, those are my eBay totals, and here are the items that sold. The first one, and as I talked about in my other video, this was my highest price sale, $25. This was my own photography. I swear it looks nicer in real life. It's brighter. But this is a photo taken in Mount Rainier National Park, and it just has that quintessential Pacific Northwest look of the fog rolling through, kind of gloomy, makes you want to cozy up with a cup of chocolate. But that sold, and I was excited about that. I have not, I'm trying to think. I think my parents have sold some of my art on their eBay, but I don't know that I've sold it for myself. I used to sell on Etsy. But this was exciting because this is the price I used to sell for on Etsy or at like a, little pop-up sale. So I had put in July some of these bigger, not big, but like 8x10 pieces up. And I put a bunch of smalls up too. I put like 30 4x6 photos up towards the end of the month. So it'll be interesting to see how those do moving forward. But that was my highest price sale. Why did it still sell in summer? Maybe because people are going to national parks, or maybe it was just random. Someone was looking for a Mount Rainier related photo and it hit the spot. This other one, this was an item I got from my parents. It is a vintage Swarovski crystal. This is I think it's well, I know. It's intended to be a little toothpick holder, but you could put a teeny tiny little flower bud in there, and real Swarovski vintage. It's pretty, these like very petite flower details. So this is one that when I first put up was like, great, maybe, let's see, early June, very end of May, early June. And then it just hadn't sold, which I guess is not that long, a month or two, but um, I was somewhat surprised, and then got an offer and ended up taking it, and the person seemed very happy to receive it, which if you've watched any of these other videos that I've done, or slideshows is maybe a better way to put it, is something that makes me happy because particularly this is part-time. There's joy in making money. There's also joy in getting items to people that appreciate them. My last item that sold on eBay was actually a hand-me-down. It's this cute little romper. It just doesn't fit me. It's too short. I'm too old to be wearing something that's too short. And so I put it up. This could definitely sell for more, but someone made me a lowball offer and I took it because otherwise it was going to go to giveaway or probably sit for a while. We're starting to near the end of summer. I already know friends and family are looking for a fall wardrobe. So yeah, I took it. And then my Poshmark, slow month in Poshmark. In general, I think this is factually accurate. Poshmark, I seem to command lower um, profit per item in general. I did have one pretty good purse sale there, but in general, lower profit from eBay. I'm mostly listing clothes on Poshmark, but I'm going to start cross listing some on eBay because they actually do seem to sell like that. Romper sold. I sold a pair of Choco sandals, so it'd be interesting to list a little more clothing on eBay and see what happens. But sold one item. It was one of the very first items I listed that was straight out of my own closet. And this, again, I get nice hand-me-downs, was pretty much brand new reversible sports bra that my mom had given me. Um, I think it didn't work for her. It didn't work for me either. So it sold. This was one I wasn't like really watching. I was kind of thinking eventually I'll have to give it away, even though it is brand new without tags. So it's nice. A little bit. Make an extra $8. All in all, I basically probably paid for the DoorDash that I just got. But am I worried about it? No. In part because, as I've mentioned, this is side hustle land for me. Now, because I have made some recent estate sale purchases, which I talk about in other videos, I probably am not overall net that positive. But again, summer's slow. I'm confident in the overwhelming majority of items that I've picked up, that I have for sale. Some of them are, started priced aggressively to see what happens, but have some wiggle room where I would still make a profit. So I'm not worried. I am, though, trying to practice what I preach and not impulse lower prices on items that are well priced, and just take this time to do the other things that I talk about doing if sales are slow, like the sourcing items is really last weekend what I spent. I went to an estate sale twice, picked up a number of items, spent more money than I was intending to, but I'm confident in those items. And then doing things like I had two Laguna Pueblo Native American pots, small, like one's about 3 inches, one's maybe an inch and a half, that I had listed separately that are getting views, but they're not getting offers or traction or sales. And so I decided to list those two together. I think they're same artist, so same design, they're clearly made at the same, they're in the same shape, which is great shape. So combining those together and removing the individual listings and then cross listing a little bit, like of the items. I think everything I want to have listed is listed, but looking at what is on Poshmark that I might put on eBay, what's on eBay that I might put on Poshmark. And this next month, I'm going to think about, do I want to go Etsy? I know my parents are like pretty much ebbs and flows, but hobbyist-ish, hobbyist to business, depending on the year, resellers on eBay and Etsy are the ones they use, and that my mom has had some good success on Etsy selling items that I would describe as like cute. My vocab today is shot. It's the end of the week, but items that are visually attractive that people would want to use for design, particularly like things that draw like the feminine eye, like nice dishes or glassware or that type of thing, and then collectibles that are in that realm too. I have not looked to see, but my guess is Etsy skews more female, eBay skews more male as far as shoppers. I don't know about sellers. So that's something that I just thought of now. That's probably worth thinking about and looking into. But overall, am I worried about a slow month? No. Am I hoping August is better? Yes. And if it's not, then I will reassess. I'm still, regardless, committing to this through the end of the year, and then we'll see what happens. But of course, if I'm not making enough to make it make sense for the time, then I'll reevaluate. But I don't think that's the case. I feel good about my plan, and now we're getting into rambling territory, so I'll end it there.